So far, everything we're doing, anyone can do. You don't need any special downloads or treasures. Anyone can do these practices and have tremendous benefit because every person has the privilege of connecting with the divine. I mean, this is one of the most amazing parts of. I mean, I've been doing this for years. I've been doing invocations, going back for decades. So it's not like this is a new thing. But I think Master Sha has gotten me much more aware of it. It's like much more of a, it's less abstract, I guess is the difference. It used to be kind of an abstract thing to call the divine, and I used to do medicine wheel teachings and a lot of things that were, this is drooping down a little bit. A lot of things that involved ideas that I often felt the frustration that I'm parroting all these words and I'm saying all these chants, but I wasn't always really feeling it that much. And that was kind of like my complex for so many years growing up. I was around all these spiritual groups and people would talk about the bliss they felt and what they'd see with their third eye. And we all love each other. And I say, well, I don't. Everybody else is, but I'm not feeling all this stuff. Yet I was drawn to be part of these groups. I couldn't seem to get away from it. So I think since I've received, learned these soul power teachings and received divine healing hands and received some of these blessings, it's much more of an experience for me. And I'm really grateful for that. Because it's a certain form of suffering to like be in the spiritual, realm and being in these things and it being just more like intellectual. And unfortunately, it's fortunate or unfortunate, so many people, in religions and spiritual paths and everything, a lot of them, they have tremendous mental knowledge, tremendous belief, but not all of them are actually experiencing what they're talking about. And I think that them has been me a lot too, so I'm not just pointing the finger at someone else. So that's something I'm very, very grateful for. So now, so now there actually are treasures, there are downloads. I want to talk a little bit about what downloads and treasures are, because there's new people here that have not studied with Master Sha, and they may sound like not understand these terms too well. But it's we all know what a computer download is. That if, like for instance, I had my PowerPoint on my computer somehow deep sixed and disappeared. So I went onto the Microsoft Store website, and I had paid for Microsoft PowerPoint 2010. And I put I signed in with a username and password, and I re-downloaded PowerPoint onto my computer. And now I can use PowerPoint. I can use all the functionality of PowerPoint again. So we all understand that, right? I mean, everybody in this modern age knows that. But now you can also have, in the same way, spiritual downloads. They're downloaded from the divine. And Master Sha has not always been able to offer downloads. I think it was around, I should know my dates a little bit better, but probably around 2004 or 2003, I think he started being able to do this. And I apologize if I don't have my dates exactly right. But the story he tells is when he was teaching a class, and he was able to offer healing blessings because he's been a doctor, an acupuncturist, and an energy healer. But he didn't actually know how to give downloads from the divine. Like his own presence was very powerful, and he helped a lot of people. But he was in a class, and there was a man named Walter there who had stage 4 liver cancer. And he was very attracted to Master Sha and was doing the practices, but his prognosis was not good. And so the divine spoke to Master Sha. He could hear the divine clearly saying, I'm going to teach you how to use my soul software and to give a download to somebody in this group to replace their organ with a new one. And so pick somebody. So Master Sha was guided to choose Walter. And Walter came to the front of the room and said, yes, I'll volunteer. So Master Sha, the divine showed him how to download from the divine level a brand new liver on the energy level, the soul of the liver. And so the old liver, which was full of disease and cancer, was taken away. The new liver was installed, was downloaded into Walter's liver. Then the divine said to Master Sha, but this is not enough. He will have to make an effort also. So he will need to chant for some period of time to fully recover. So Master Sha just taught him how to say, divine liver, perfect liver, divine liver, perfect liver. And there might have been variations on that. And he said, you need to chant at least 2 hours a day to recover. And Walter was more than happy to do that because his prognosis was he was probably going to die. And so he took that to heart, and he went home and he would chant at least 2, sometimes more than that, hours every day. And it might sound terrible to chant 2 hours a day, But if you break it up into different pieces, like some early in the morning and some on your lunch break and some in the evening and some when you're driving, I mean, it's not that hard to get to 2 hours if you really want to grow, you really want to learn. So anyway, he chanted 2 hours a day, and I forget the time frame, if it was 4 months or 5 months, but some not too long of a time. He went back to his oncologist, the liver cancer was gone. And so this was the first experience Master Sha had of doing downloads, of being able to be a channel for these downloads. So since then, he's gotten more and more powerful every year, and the things he's able to download are more and more high level. So why would we need downloads? I mean, it may be obvious if you have a cancerous liver to get a download that would replace that. Well, you can also get downloads to boost your energy centers. Like it could take a lot of chanting. You know, if you're, like I'm in my early 60s, and so I have the stresses accumulated from this and probably many other lifetimes in my body, and I'm a pretty healthy guy, but I mean, to really regain my full vigor in my body, could I do that? I mean, not too many people do. I mean, there's people that have it naturally, but I've also been through chronic fatigue in my life. I went through some really severe when I'm in my 30s. I was actually much sicker then than I am now. I'm much healthier now. I had chronic fatigue. It was hard. I remember in my acupuncture practice, I would put the needles in my patient, go in the next room and lay on the table and just kind of, you know, just, then I'd get back and go take the needles out. I mean, it wasn't always like that, but I had some days like that. And it was, you know, and I was trying to heal myself. So anyway, coming from that background, how much vitality could I gain in my own body as I get older? Like, could I do the reverse? Most people wind down and get more tired, more fatigued, more degenerative diseases, you know, mind less clear, more forgetfulness. Is it possible that I could actually get more energy as I get older? My mind could get clearer. I could get happier. Well, I feel like it's happening. There's definitely some zigs and zags in the road, I'll tell you that. But in general, that's the direction I'm going in, because these practices, I've received these downloads from the Tao, from the divine. Now, I'm not saying this to brag. I'm just saying as an example, it's open to every one of us to do this. So how do you get these downloads? Well, okay, the least expensive and easiest way is through Master Sha's books. Most of his recent books, you get to certain pages where he says, okay, sit up straight. And then he'll say, you know, he'll give the name of a certain download, and he says, transmission. And in that moment that you're reading that page of the book, you actually get the blessing. So again, you know, this makes Harry Potter seem tame in comparison. The kind of things that are real, that you just open a book to a certain page and you get this permanent treasure that will be with you for all your future lifetimes, if you believe in other lifetimes. So this is powerful stuff. So there's a lot of treasures and downloads just from reading the books. And if anyone doesn't have any of his books and you'd like to have one, I am willing to send you one, or you can get them on Amazon.com. I recently sent out 25 of books to people from one of my webinars a couple of weeks ago. So if you receive one of those, you know, please enjoy it. But you can just go on Amazon.com and get some of these books too. Now, there's higher level downloads that you can get directly from Master Sha that usually there's an honor fee. You have to pay a fee for, because you have to give something back to get that level of power. And a lot of these are downloads to increase your healing power. And I know Barbara's getting ready to do that pretty soon. And I've received the Divine Healing Hands and some other treasures that I just love, because on a regular basis, whenever I'm called upon, I can be a channel for divine healing. And I know I'm not doing it. It's not because I'm a great guy or because I'm a great doctor. It's just because I'm willing, because I'm saying yes, because I received the download and I'm willing to offer service. So any of us can do that. And it greatly boosts your ability. If you are a doctor or an acupuncturist or massage therapist or whatever you do, it'll boost your ability, because you can turn on those treasures and you can ask them to serve your patient. And I know personally, because I am an acupuncturist and I use the Accutron and other techniques, I turn on those treasures when I'm guided to while I'm doing my clinical techniques. And I love it. It's really a wonderful way to practice. So what I'm going to offer you to close this class, first of all, we're going to do some healings, but to close this section of the practice will be a blessing for your first soul house. Now, this has not come from me. I've received some divine downloads for my first soul house, so I'm going to ask those to offer you a blessing. Now, the way I understand it is that I've received a permanent divine soul in my first soul house that is gives me the ability to have it more energized and reduce the leakiness and all that on an energetic level. I can ask that soul to offer you a blessing. So that's what I'm going to do. So just sit up straight. And remember, if you don't want to receive this, just simply say, I don't wish to receive it. This is voluntary. But if you want it, just say a quiet yes to the divine. So, dear soul of the download and treasure in my first soul house, dear the star, the ray, the sphere, the pyramid, the new creation, please turn on and offer a blessing that's appropriate to each person in this class to boost the power, energy, and presence of their first soul house and all the aspects of life connected with that. Healing blessing begin. Just put your attention on your first soul house, breathe into that area, and just receive. How? Thank you, thank you, thank you. So again, if you experienced anything during that blessing, it would be a very good service for you to post something on the chat and just mention what you experienced.